Your seat? Part-timers, especially older ladies, should stand while working. Being in my first year at the company, perhaps she doesn't know who I am. It's surprising that a young female newcomer would say something so rude to me. But maybe she's just young and doesn't understand the working world yet. I managed to keep my anger in check. The new employee was sitting in the manager's chair. I wondered if someone deserving of the manager's chair had arrived while I was away. However, being mistaken for a part-timer was amusing. Looking around the office, it seemed like the newcomer's voice had shaken everyone. What on earth has happened at this company? My name is Grace. I'm 37 and just returned from maternity leave. I took a full leave starting 6 weeks before my due date. That was at the end of March. Our first son was born right on the expected delivery date. By the way, my husband Daniel works at the same company. I believe it's a company with a high average salary and a very good working environment. And the newcomer who joined while I was away is Amanda. She, being new, seemed to have quite free spirit around the office. When I returned to work after finishing my maternity leave, it became clear to me. I realized this when I returned to work after finishing my maternity leave. It's great to be back at work. Our baby was only 2 months old and couldn't be left at daycare, so Mom and my mother-in-law are taking turns looking after him. I returned to work, thankful for their help. There are some new faces I didn't see in March. Probably new employees. One of them, inexplicably, is sitting in the manager's chair. Maybe because it's their first year? They don't know where to sit. I gave a casual greeting to the new employee. Nice to meet you, I'm Grace. However, the newcomer didn't respond at all. Perhaps she didn't hear me? I was puzzled but greeted her again. Good morning, I wonder where my seat is now. Then the new employee whispered to me, Your seat? Part-timers, especially older ladies, should stand while working. I was stunned by the new employee's rudeness, and apparently her whispering was futile as it seemed everyone else heard her too. The entire office started to tremble. The new employee, seemingly on a whim, said, I'm going to take a restroom break. And she left. I stood there bewildered but decided to ask the other employees what was happening. The office was eerily quiet. I asked my colleague Frank, whom I had been mentoring before my maternity leave, who she was. Frank, looking perplexed, informed me.
Her name is Amanda, she's 22, and as you guessed, a new employee. She's a bit overconfident, I would say. She's not incompetent at work, but she seems very interested in the male staff.
What do you mean, interested in the male staff? As I asked, Frank seemed uncomfortable explaining.
It seems Amanda is targeting high-earning men in good companies. She has this attitude like, a cute girl like me deserves a high-spec husband. And she seems to have set her sights on Daniel too, despite knowing he's married, as evidenced by his ring. She says things like, I'm much better than his wife, and has even made lunch for him a few times.
Hearing this for the first time, I'm shocked.
Of course, Daniel has been declining her offers, saying I have a wonderful wife and a lovely child.
I blush a bit at the wonderful part, and I'm somewhat relieved to hear that Daniel didn't accept Amanda's advances. Of course, it's hard to imagine Daniel, who is so serious, cheating. It's hard to imagine him having an affair, though.
She still kept pursuing him, but lately it seems she's shifted her focus and given up on Daniel. Amanda is young and objectively pretty, so she has had quite a few male employees under the spell. She seems to be assessing who among them is likely to advance in their career.
Seeing Frank's troubled expression, I can tell he's had a hard time. That's tough. I'd be furious to think someone was trying to seduce my husband, but what a problem, dealing with a woman so intoxicated with herself. Frank nods vigorously to my words.
Exactly. Lately, she's been claiming the CEO is fond of her. The CEO is 45 and single, right? She's convinced herself she's going to be the future CEO's wife, acting freely and even sitting in the manager's chair. No one knows the truth and nobody dares to confront her.
It's as if being the CEO's wife is a foregone conclusion among the new employees. That certainly makes it difficult for everyone to work. She's probably drunk on her own youth and beauty. I understand everyone's struggles, but we can't allow her to dominate like this. As I respond to Frank, he looks disheartened. Frank continues to list the new employees' outrageous actions.
It's terrible. Amanda mocks older women as older ladies.
How? Short-sighted, not realizing she'll age too? That's a nasty way of thinking. I'm scared I might be targeted next. I laugh. According to Frank, he heard her say to one of the female employees, Elder lady, you better hurry up or you won't get married. Apparently, she boldly said this right in front of the person. She seems to have no regard for seniority, speaking ill of them even in the restroom. So unattractive, it's pitiful. A poor choice of husband, just too sad. As an older lady, no one would choose her. She appears to look down on female employees in general. I might have become her target too, says Frank.
She probably mistook Grace for a part-timer. I'm sorry, we couldn't properly mentor Amanda in Grace's absence.
Seeing Frank's apologetic look, I also feel sorry.
As I mentioned earlier, she claims the CEO favors her, so we can't complain much. Lately, she casually takes hour-long bathroom breaks, and we find it difficult to use the restroom during that time. It's unclear what she's doing in there.
It seems Amanda is getting quite carried away. Looking at the clock, it's been 30 minutes since Amanda went to the bathroom. An unacceptably long break for a professional. But maybe she's genuinely unwell. I tell everyone present, I'll go check the restroom. It would be a problem if she's collapsed. The people there seemed puzzled about what to do. Well, I'll go to the restroom and talk to her. As I approach, I hear Amanda's voice. It seemed she was talking to someone. I listened from behind cover. It's so annoying. The part-time employee, here I am, a full-time employee favored by the CEO, and there's this part-timer acting like she doesn't know her place, asking where's my seat? Such an incompetent part-timer. Someone on the phone was responding. Perhaps the person on the other end was a man? Her face? She's not hideously ugly. Really? But she's in her 30s. She's just a foil for me. But she looks like she can't do her job at all, not even good enough to be a foil. I am, after all, favored by the CEO, but I only love Andrew. Andrew must be Amanda's boyfriend. But wasn't Amanda looking for a husband? It was confusing. If I am to marry, it has to be a wealthy CEO. But my heart belongs only to Andrew. When I become the CEO's wife and get a lot of allowance, I'll make Andrew the number one at his bar. Just have to endure until then. Amanda's phone conversation seemed to be with a bartender. She wanted to marry someone with a higher income to support her bartender boyfriend? Calculating, greedy, and not particularly capable, she's the type I dislike the most. I burst through the door. Amanda, not expecting me to enter, looked terribly surprised. What? Amanda was extremely startled. Don't you think that's rude? Did you consider that I might be feeling unwell? Think a little. Until now, no one has ever come into the restroom while I was there. When I'm in the restroom, nobody else uses it. At least not on this floor. Can't people who can't do their job at least be considerate? Amanda's reasoning was laughable. I chuckled and Amanda became even more furious. What's with you? Part-timers are just not up to it. Unlike full-time employees like me, being a part-timer in your 30s, that's just unthinkable. Her extreme anger made me laugh. Though Amanda was visibly upset, I managed to respond calmly. First, maybe you should hang up the phone, Miss Full-Time Employee. What's this older lady blabbering about? Amanda retorted, but I calmly said, everything you said was heard by the guy on the phone. She then started talking in a flirty voice to the person on the phone. Sorry, Andrew, an older lady interrupted our conversation. I'll call you back, Andrew. Don't give your heart to any other woman, okay? With quite the performance, Amanda changed her tone to end the call. After hanging up, she glared and confronted me. You get it? I'm favored by the CEO. Someone like you, an older lady part-timer, can be fired in an instant. By the way, what's your name? I should ask again to remember. Such foolishness is impressive in its own way. I sighed deeply. It's Grace. Your husband was under my care, wasn't he, Amanda? Amanda seemed to think for a moment. Then she realized I was Daniel's wife, whom she had tried to approach before. She laughed loudly. You're Daniel's wife? You? Daniel has terrible taste then. He won't get far in his career with an older lady like you. Calling you a wonderful woman? That's laughable. How old are you anyway? I realized I was being looked down upon, but I decided to endure it. I'm 37 years old. 37? Older than Daniel? Why did you start as a part-timer? Is Daniel not earning enough? Maybe you're not supporting him well enough. I sighed. No need to worry. My husband was recently promoted to head of the department. Hearing about my husband's promotion, Amanda seemed displeased and was probably thinking of what to say next. I decided to speak first. And I'm also a full-time employee, just like you. Amanda looked shocked. She had thought I was a part-timer. Really? A full-time employee? So you're my senior, but just being a senior doesn't mean much, does it? You must be jealous of me because I'm young and cute. Poor you. I'm young, cute, and a full-time employee. Even though I consider myself an older lady, hearing it from Amanda was disagreeable. Amanda, seeing my irritated face, seemed to enjoy it more. You won't be mean to me just because you started working here before me, will you? Please stay quiet, Grace. After all, I'm favored by the CEO. She laughed and looked at me. Clearly, she was hostile towards me, but I'm not childish enough to argue here. Understood. Let's go back anyway. If both of us don't return from the restroom, everyone will start worrying, got it? Amanda looked dissatisfied. She fiddled with her hair. I wondered if she had no intention of returning to her desk. I wanted to relax a bit more. You know, I'm favored by the CEO. If I tell him you and Daniel could both be demoted. Lacking professional ethics, I was getting irritated talking to her. I needed to maintain a dull composure and decided to use my last resort. I'm your senior and your supervisor. Just then, other employees came looking for me. Manager, we were worried. Has Amanda done something inappropriate? Amanda's surprise face was memorable. Manager? Yes, I hold the position of manager. I returned from maternity leave earlier than planned as they needed me back urgently without taking any childcare leave. Today was my first day back. I was surprised to see how much had changed. However, I didn't particularly like being called manager. I had asked not to be addressed as such, but given my conversation with Amanda, Frank and others must have been worried. They called me manager. Amanda finally seemed to realize that I was the manager, and the reason the manager's seat had been vacant was that it was mine. Amanda had been sitting in my seat, acting as if she were the manager. However, the reality was different. Noticing the absence of my rightful chair, I gently asked Amanda, where is my seat? Amanda might be young and cute, but she completely lacks respect for her elders. She mistook me for a part-timer and treated me like an older lady. However, such an attitude is unacceptable even if I were a part-timer. Part-timers are essential for a company's prosperity. As a manager, it's my duty to treat part-timers with respect. Amanda seemed surprised to learn I was the manager, but turned around as if she still had one more card to play. But Grace is the manager. I'm favored by the CEO. What an impudent woman. I sighed for what felt like the upteenth time today. It's time to return to the office. I thought about going back alone if Amanda didn't, but she silently followed me. Back in the office, Amanda seemed to sit at her own desk. I took my seat in the manager's chair. I immediately called the CEO.
Oh, what's the matter?
Is that the CEO? I returned to work today after finishing my maternity leave. I need to discuss something with you. Could you please come to our department?
Understood. I'll be there right away. I'm also concerned about your health.
I sighed again after hanging up the phone. Soon, everything would become clear. Within 5 minutes, the CEO arrived at our department. As always, he looked energetic and asked me,
how are you feeling?
He asked me. I responded to the CEO in a loud voice. I'm doing all right, but I have a question for you.
Oh, what is it?
Is it true that you have been in a long-term relationship with a woman?
What? Did you call me here just to confirm that?
I looked at Amanda. Yes, I was just curious if you had been approaching Amanda? The CEO didn't take it seriously and laughed.
What are you talking about? You know I've been dating Emily for over a year and we're planning to get married soon, right?
Right, you're getting married to Emily, so there's no way you would approach Amanda. The CEO looked surprised.
What are you saying? That's scary. Did Emily tell you something? You know I love Emily. I've never even talked to Amanda with any intention of approaching her.
Of course, I said. Then turned my gaze back to Amanda. Amanda's face had turned pale, and no wonder. She had just found out the CEO had not been approaching her. It was all her own misconception. What should I do? I said this mischievously while looking at Amanda. Amanda? The surrounding employees didn't know whether to laugh or keep a serious face. Amanda, called by name, stepped forward. Yes? Did you understand what I said? The CEO looked at Amanda and me, not understanding the situation. Amanda, appearing to have given up, spoke again. Grace, aren't you being overly familiar with the CEO? I did intend to be overly familiar with the CEO, but it seemed my normal behavior might have come off as such due to my irritation with Amanda. Is that so? Amanda, seeing my confused look, seemed to misunderstand that I had a sexual relationship with the CEO. Could it be that you and the CEO have a sexual relationship? As I hesitated to answer, the CEO promptly replied to Amanda.
Do Grace and I seem that close to you, Amanda?
Why are you so familiar with each other? Amanda whispered in a small voice. The CEO continued.
Well, that's because Grace and I are cousins.
I thought to myself, I have let it slip. If everyone knew the CEO and I were cousins, they might start treating me differently. That's why I hadn't told anyone. Unconcerned about my dilemma, the CEO kept talking cheerfully.
Grace is very competent. Amanda, you can learn a lot from her. Work hard.
Amanda, altering between pale and flushed, managed to say, yes. Amanda said only that. Then the CEO said,
well, I should get back to my office now.
And he left. That left us there. I managed to say, let's all focus on our work, and return to my desk. The day ended like that, but Amanda seemed unable to concentrate on her work, and the next day she was absent. Perhaps she felt humiliated. She did call to report her absence. Could that be considered the bare minimum of professional etiquette? I'm sorry, I'm not feeling well today, so I'm taking the day off. And with that, the call ended. Amanda was absent the following day as well, but this time there was no call. She continued her unexcused absences for the next few days. After a week of no-shows, her resignation letter arrived. Amanda, who had arrogantly taken long bathroom breaks, must have been deeply embarrassed after her relationship with the CEO was clearly denied. Amanda was certainly young and cute, but it seems she never ended up marrying a colleague and resigning. After Amanda left the company, it was revealed that many men had been approached by her. It appears she had approached everyone she was interested in. Amanda's whereabouts are unknown. As for me, I am enjoying my work immensely. My subordinates are saying,
"We're really glad you're back and
"We rely on you," bringing a lively atmosphere to the department. My husband has been promoted to head of the department. The CEO fairly evaluates both he and me, making the workplace very satisfying. Additionally, the CEO has asked me to be present at the interviews for new employees from now on. It seems this incident made the CEO realize he's not good at discerning competent personnel.
The CEO said, "With Grace, I'm reassured since she has a good eye for people."
He was as laid back as ever. I want to hire new employees who can value the company and their colleagues. We don't need new hires who come with preconceived notions like mistaking a woman in her late 30s for a part-timer. Nor do we need those who don't treat part-timers with respect. Youth and good looks aren't necessary either. What's important is the ability to work humbly and efficiently. Time to work hard again today.